Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not sure when you're watching this, but thanks so much for taking the time to watch it. And thanks so much for the interest in the VOISS Advisor project. Really appreciate your willingness to participate. Thought I'd provide a brief overview of what VOISS is and what VOISS Advisor is. And that hopefully will give you a little bit more context to then what we're seeking from you over the next several weeks. So first of all, we're focused on the challenge of social skill deficits. No question there. And we have two elements here. We have what's called VOISS and what we have called as VOISS Advisor. Now, you're like, well, first of all, Sean, that doesn't sound out VOISS. Well, it's that virtual reality opportunities to implement social skills and therefore giving a voice to the individuals. VOISS itself is an app. Now, as I say, as an app, it's for the Chromebook, the iPad, as well as for virtual reality tools like the Oculus. We have 140 different scenarios, and we've organized them across 10 social skill domains. Those are the social skill domains, and the number in the middle column are the number of scenarios per domain. I'll explain scenarios in just a moment. But we're covering a fair amount of areas that we see are primary areas of concern for social skill challenges for individuals, yes, with disabilities, but also typically developing individuals as well. Now, we could go deep into each of these scenarios. So, for example, we have self-awareness and advocacy. We have 25 different scenarios. But each scenario has a variety of skills. And so we could go deep on this, and this is not for our focus today, but we want you to know that the scenarios have a great deal of depth to them. Now, of the 140 different social scenarios, as I mentioned, a variety of skills in each scenario, we have it settings, cafeteria, hallway, classroom, physical education environment, the gymnasium. They're built around this idea of a social narrative in that there are avatars the student kind of goes through. There are avatars that will engage with them in a preset kind of narrative. They're controlled pathways in that the student can look around, they can look up, down, sideways. When they have the virtual reality headset on, they really are engaged in it. When they have on the iPad or on a Chrome app, they're very much engaged as well. But it's controlled in that they basically are moving through where, boom, they're given a scenario, and boom, they're given preset questions to be able to ask. So for example, here's expressive communication. There are 25 different scenarios, and students enter at different levels depending upon what their need is. So for example, some students might be in the area of ending a conversation, where other individuals may be focused in on, greetings and how to start a conversation. So again, you enter the scenario where it's appropriate, and then in each scenario, there's a variety of different tools for the user to interact with. I won't go over those tools today, but it's a way for making sure that it's somewhat universally designed for multiple options for them to basically facilitate their movement through. As I mentioned, as they move through, they're generally stopped, not generally, they are stopped and either presented with a series of questions or an experience they have to respond to see whether or not they're gaining knowledge and skill in respect to a specific social skill. So that in itself is a VOISS product. So the VOISS product is a virtual reality experience. It is, again, on the Chrome or it's an app. It's on the iPad or it's a virtual reality experience. So our purpose, though, is that the student will gain knowledge and skill from the VOISS app, and then we'll have what's called the VOISS Advisor. Now, the VOISS Advisor is a web-based resource, and it's for us, the educators. And it has a series of components. And I'm going to give you an overview of those series of components. But the big thing here, folks, is we're trying to empower educators, related service personnel, folks working on trying to practice and generalize social skills in their environment, be it classroom, be it hallway, wherever it may be, with the students that struggle. So our hope is that the students go through the VOISS product or maybe receive instruction another way, and then we need ideas to facilitate practice and generalization. So we're targeting those 10 social skill domains, we're targeting educators, and we're trying to provide interventions. So for example, we're giving data. So this is directly related to the VOISS product, and that is everything the student does in VOISS on the app has data affiliated with it. And so therefore the educator can see this data, make decisions based on this data. time, how long it takes to complete things, etc., etc., etc. Now, with this said, there's a lot of different ways to visualize this. And this is the first task we'll be asking of folks, is to give us feedback on the various ways we visualize the data. Do you understand it? Does it make sense? Connect the dots, so to speak, there. So that would be something we have created for a survey, and there's a lot of different options for you to give us feedback on. But that will then be housed in the VOISS Advisor to allow for educators to better understand what the user is experiencing in the VOISS app, how they're doing, and everything in between. In addition, we've organized every domain around a story. There are 10 different stories. Each story addresses a domain, and they have affiliated lesson plans, etc., etc. This next several weeks, you will be getting examples of that to give us feedback on structure, how it needs to be laid out, things of that nature, the structure of the lesson plan, and that will allow us to better understand and better facilitate that development. So that is basically the VOISS Advisor. There's other elements too in terms of solutions and things of that nature. That's where you basically said, yes, you're going to participate with us. And of course, we've been recruiting a group of educators. It's taken us a little bit longer than we thought. So this will probably go on until early June. Thank you very much for the interest. Hopefully this brief overview has given you an understanding that there's a VOISS app and then the advisor component, which you'll be giving us feedback on. If you have any questions, you know my email. Otherwise, you'll be hearing from me here in the very near future about the different steps. Thank you so much.